But there is a myth that people believe that conversion rate optimization is about making a blue button versus a red button. We are not Walmart, we're not Amazon. We don't have tens of millions of people going to a website every day. So unless you have thousands of people every day on your website, it's not about the blue button or the green button. It's not about if you're going to move the form a little down or a little up. Those things could help, but it's about the time that people spend on your website, because time equals what? It equals trust, right? If I want to go out, right, before I got married, I had to spend time with my wife, right? She can trust me, so she knows that I'm the one she wants to marry. So you want people to spend as much time as possible on your online presentations, whatever it is. Your Instagram, your web pages, your product pages, your service pages, everything. So you want to think about, how do I create a branded design, a branded experience that makes people want to exchange their time for it. Just like when you go online on a website that on a brand you like, could be Nike, Louis Vuitton, could be Apple, whatever it is that you like, and you just spend and you scroll and you scroll. Because you see, nobody goes to a menu and start clicking on things. Everybody today is scrolling. Everybody loves this little scrolling experience. So if people already like scrolling, let them scroll with you. So, what I want to talk about today is it's about changing your perspective about brand, but mainly about also what it means for online. And I want to talk specifically about your website today. I think website is something that's been thrown for the last 20, 30 years, right? We've had it for a while now. And we all have an idea, what is a website? What's a website for your business? Like what it needs to be? And I want us to try and put it to the side. So the key of my presentation today is to talk about the 3 essential pillars for building a high-earning website. Sounds interesting?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, but before we get started, I want you to ask yourself a couple questions. And the first question is, what does a website mean to you, to your business in 2024? Okay? Think about it. And some of you requested the notepad, so you can even write it down. What does a website mean to your business in 2024? When was the last time somebody asked you that question? You can write this down. By the way, you can feel free to take pictures of the slides. I will go through some more slides and even answer them later. But before that, the second question, what problems are you trying to solve with your website? We all have an idea what a website should do, but we have to rediscover what it means, because a website in 2024 is not a website in 2000. And the last question is, does technology in business increase or decrease trust? It's a little bit more of a philosophical question, but it's also a question that's worth asking, because a lot of people are hesitant to implement technology. They have a sense of fear like, oh, it's not me, Or, what happens if I grow? Am I going to be able to pay attention, especially small businesses? So before we can understand what a website is, we have to first talk about the different pitfalls that people have, the idea of a website. And the first one is, there's 2 camps, the digital brochure camps and the funnel camps. Do you all know what I'm talking about? Some people just create a website because they just feel like they need to. Some people are in this funnel, sales, quit pages, VSL, all this stuff. If you're one of those camps, just put it to the side. There's nothing wrong with either of those, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. The second part is the menu. Everybody has a website with a beautiful menu. When was the last time you went to someone's website and click on the menu like, wow, this company has a beautiful menu? Nobody uses a website this way, right? Sort by price. A lot of small businesses, they're fighting and trying to be the most affordable option in the market. And that's not a strategy to win, and it's not necessary today. But it's hard because the competition is so fierce. It's the amount of spaces on Google search is just 10. So what do? Don't be boring. They're just a given, So if you feel you have a boring website, we're going to help you fix it today with the 3 pillars of what you need to know about your website. I hear a lot of people saying, I'm not e-commerce. I talk to people that they need to treat their business as an e-commerce business, because e-commerce is part of, it doesn't matter if you do service, you do product, it's e-commerce. And a lot of people have still the conception, the idea that, e-commerce is just for people who sell shoes and bags. So think about that. What does it mean to truly have an e-commerce in your industry? My website is for everybody who needs roofing. Everybody who needs, maybe have a dental problem, right? Anybody who's trying to buy maybe a new pair of socks, whatever, right? Your website is not for everybody, and to be honest, nobody's going to find your website anyway. So who are you creating it for? It's a good question to ask yourself. Who is your website for? Who's going to go there? Talking about yourself. we all have this mistake that we talk about ourselves in our website, all right? My company has been doing it for this long, this is what we do, us. But the person has a problem, they want it to be solved. So don't talk about yourself in your website. You should mention yourself, but just don't talk about yourself. And then the idea of the digital space and the real world. Because for some of us, this digital world, it still feels a little bit strange, you know, talking about trust earlier, we get this feeling that, you know, what we do in the digital space is different than the real world. You know, those QR codes, for example, that's how you make the digital and the real world come together. What does a website mean to your business if you bring it together with the real world? How can the one amplify one another? Because the companies that mix the two together are really getting the best results. And copy versus design. We see, you know, websites that have a lot of text, or we see people that are really focused on just a video or an image. The truth is you need both. So it's not about having those long sales letters, or it's not about just creating a video. It's about utilizing all the tools that you have. So now that we understand what we should watch out for, let's give a new definition for a website. A website is a collection of web pages, usually digital presentation, linked under the same domain. Simple. That's all it is. It's just a collection of web pages linked under the same domain. And when we can start with that core principle, with that foundation, we can start to analyze what does a website mean in my business. How can I create those web pages and links work in a way that get me what I want? Okay? So what is the purpose of your website? It's about building relationships at scale. Everybody wants sales, everybody wants leads, everybody wants a lot of things related to those two things, but it's really about building relationships at scale. It's about taking the long-term view, and relationships are built on trust. So the purpose of your website is to create trust for your company, for your brand in the marketplace. So far, makes sense, everybody, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are the three pillars? The three pillars are brand and design, on-page viewer retention, and creating a duplicatable and shareable process. So I'm going to go into each one now and help you understand what they mean and how you can implement them in your business. So the first about is brand and design. Nobody cares if you look good. People want to know if you look great, right? You go to the party, everybody dressed up nice, but you want to look the best. And the party online, it's the loudest one ever. It's so loud over there, it's so noisy. If you want to get that attention, you have to be able to get, you know, people noticing you. So how do you get people noticing you? What does brand mean? Anybody knows what brand is, where it came from? Go ahead.
I don't know where it came from. I would say it's your reputation.
Reputation. Anybody else? What does brand mean?
Trust.
Trust. Anybody else? Want to give it a try?
Recognition.
Recognition. Yeah, all these are true. Identity. Identity is a very good one, because brand came from the source back in the day where, you know, human beings used to fight with swords. And on a sword, there would be a mark. And that burnt mark was the brand. It comes from the word burnt, burning something. So when you talk about brand, you're not talking about your logo or your website. You're talking about, I want to burn something. I want to imprint. I want to create an impression. So when somebody go to your website, what impression are they going to get? Are they impressed? Are they getting something that they're not getting from somebody else? Because somebody's already there. They walked in, right? What are they seeing? Are they seeing text, photo? Are they experiencing something different? Have you ever been on one of those websites that just feels different? You're like, wow, look at this new iPhone. Same as iPhone 15, same as iPhone 14, but I still want to buy the new one. You scroll, and you see all this stuff. And you may not buy it right away, but it left an impression on you, right? And then you save it on your phone, and then you buy it 2 weeks, 2 months later. Because there is something emotional about it that touched you. So that's what brand. It's about looking great. No, please join us. It's about looking great, and it's about creating a certain experience to somebody. It's about understanding what impression somebody's going to take from visiting your online presence, anywhere, your website, Facebook, everywhere. The second part is the design. Design does not mean just something that looks pretty. Looking pretty is awesome, but design is curating an experience. You know, like an interior design that create a place, a space, like a house. They're thinking about the different functional things that the person would need to create a good design. Design is not just the color of the wall. It's not just picking this furniture or that furniture. Same thing on your website. Your website design, it's not just about having a photo. It's about the combination of the fonts, the words. And the design needs to always cater to the audience you're trying to serve. None of us are serving everybody. There is like 8 billion people on this planet. None of us are serving 8 billion people. So it's up to each one of us to understand who are the people that we want to help and create an experience that is custom designed for them. So when they come to my home, when they go on my website, they feel, wow, this is different. This is actually what I was looking for. This is not hard to do, guys. Each one of you, not you, but get a professional. You can hire someone who can design your website, who can understand the signals that consumers are listening to when they go online, those things that makes the emotional connection. So the first thing is brand and design. The second part is on-page viewer retention, and that's the most important metric for your website. On-page viewer retention means how much time does someone spend on your web pages? How much time do they spend? Is it 10 seconds, 20, 3, a minute, 5? A lot of us are thinking about, we want people to spend more time with us, but a lot of us are always focused on, conversion rate optimization. How many of you heard about conversion rate optimization? Some of you? Yeah. Conversion rate optimization is the art of trying to make someone buy from your website. So let's say if you have 100 people on your website and 2% buy, that's 2% conversion rate. So conversion rate optimization specialists will try to get it to 3% and 4%. But there is a myth that people believe that conversion rate optimization is about making a blue button versus a red button. We are not Walmart, we're not Amazon. We don't have tens of millions of people going to a website every day. So unless you have thousands of people every day on your website, it's not about the blue button or the green button. It's not about if you're going to move the form a little down or a little up. Those things could help, but it's about the time that people spend on your website, because time equals what? Time does equal money, but more importantly online, it equals trust, right? If I want to go out, right, before I got married, I had to spend time with my wife, right? So she can trust me. So she knows that I'm the one she wants to marry. So you want people to spend as much time as possible on your online presentations, whatever it is. Your Instagram, your web pages, your product pages, your service pages, everything. So you want to think about how do I create a branded design, a branded experience that makes people want to exchange their time for it. Just like when you go online on a website that on a brand you like, could be Nike, Louis Vuitton, could be Apple, whatever it is that you like, and you just spend and you scroll and you scroll. Because you see, nobody goes to a menu and start clicking on things. Everybody today is scrolling. Everybody loves this little scrolling experience. So if people already like scrolling, let them scroll with you. Let them spend the time with you. Give them something worthwhile scrolling for. The next part is creating a duplicatable and shareable process. Because you have to create a process that is easy for someone to buy and easy for someone to share. Okay? So if I have a website, and people have to start figuring it out, how did they take the next step? And I'm not talking just having a form on your website you can get contact information. How do you convert it into an e-commerce flow? Well, if I want to buy it for you right now, I can do it. How many of you have this e-commerce element that I'm talking about on your website? Some of you do? Nice, very, very nice. But the rest of you don't. And some people like to call, some people maybe want to fill out a form, but a lot of people today are used to, and the younger generation, they want it now, they want to start buying. Even if you can't sell maybe exactly what is that you do, you can still create an engaging e-commerce experience, like a flow that allows the person to discover something about their project already. So you want to draw their attention, again, spending more time, giving them a tool, something to interact with. So it needs to be very easy for someone to buy. Now, when you do that, one of the benefits is that it starts being easy to sell. If I want to promote you right now, and I know nothing about your industry and nothing about your company, can I go right now to your website and pick up a web page there, and there is a solution there, and I can go and sell for you? That's an interesting thought, right? Like creating that web page that anyone, a stranger, can pick it up, get impressed by it, talking about brand again, and actually walk people through an e-commerce checkout flow. Because what happens when you have that, not only that your sales team is going to become better and it's easier to train them, also your customers are going to be more excited about sharing what is that you have. Because customers, the first thing that customer does when they buy something, they tell someone. But if they don't have the tools to share it, you know, it's like, okay, you just look like, okay, just another website. Somebody's already there working with you, talking about you. But then what? They're sending a link and then what? The person says, oh, it's just another company. Don't be that. It's not hard to do those things. They take time, they take some investment, they take some, you know, want to learn about how to do those, each one individually, but these are very, very beneficial. And if you implement those three things, it's gonna completely change how you view your website and the results you're gonna get from your website. Because you can get more leads, you can get attention, that's easy today. And Mike is here with the AI and is gonna show you how to do amazing things just like that. But if someone goes to your website and they don't spend a second there, it doesn't matter how much people you feed into the funnel, it's like a leaking bucket syndrome. It all just, you know, flows down, flows out. So those are the three pillars that you need to know fundamentally. Now there's a little bit more, and before I add it back to Mike, there's a little bit more things that we do, you know, with our process. We basically created a company called the HCP team. We build a high converting process. So the three things that I just showed you are just the most essential things that you want to see in your company and how you can make better. But we can also help, you know, increasing the conversion rate on your site, creating more referrals in your business, creating better campaign tracking, all these services, you know, creating onboarding, warm onboarding for your customers. Somebody right now signs up with you. What are they getting? Is there an email? Is there a text message that goes out? Is there something that gets them excited? Lead them to share what is that they just signed up for? Because, you know, the statistics show that people are most likely to share about your business, your customer are more likely to share about your business, not when they finish the project, when you just signed up. Do you have something for that? So we can help solving all these problems. That's what I do, and I'll be here after. But that's my segment, and I really, really appreciate your time.